This is Scott MacDonald of EuroCultAV.com, back with another edition of video reviews. Tonight we'll be reviewing an eclectic pile of movies, starting with the revived Gorgon Video's debut, Death Spa. Death Spa is a late 80s supernatural horror film that takes place in a health club a la The Toxic Avenger. It's directed by Michael Fisher. And I believe this is not only the first time the film has been released on Blu-ray, but maybe the first time it's been on DVD. The film is quite a tongue-in-cheek affair, and is quite humorous. The death scenes are gory, not full chi gory, but there is some quite gooey stuff here. The film itself is a lot of fun. However, it does get bogged down a little bit by some a few plot strands that seem to go nowhere. That being said, it is the Blu-ray restoration from MPI looks really nice. I can't say I've actually seen this one before, but it's a very natural transfer from a 2K scan based on the original negative, according to the director. It's in the film's original aspect ratio. Everything looks kind of natural. Yeah, there are a few softer moments throughout the film, but that is to be expected from a film of this vintage. There's also a documentary that details the film from production to inception to the film's reception. It's a really, really interesting documentary, and it was one of the highlights of this package, which also comes with the director's commentary. Next up, the new Stephen Chow film, Journey to the West. Journey to the West is based on some ancient Chinese mythology, which I won't be forthright, I am unfamiliar with. The trailers kind of reminded me of something akin to Zoo Warriors of Magic Mountain, or on the American side of things, John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. The film's production design was excellent. I thought the characters, although not entirely exactly pleasant to spend 2 hours with, were fairly well drawn. The action was excellent, and yet I did not connect with the film. I felt when the film should have been building up momentum, it was kind of a slog to get through, and then by the end I just wasn't interested. The film comes to Blu-ray with some special features detailing the stunts, choreography, etc. This is, like I said, Stephen Chow's latest, but he directs it, doesn't star in it. If you are a fan of the director, though, and like previous efforts, CJ7, Shaolin Soccer, Chinese Odyssey, and so on, you'll definitely want to check this out. Your mileage may vary. You might like it better than I did, but I'll have to give it another shot at some point in the future. Next up is Alberto Cavalloni's Blue Movie. Blue Movie is a really bizarre bit of Italian sleaze cinema, brought to us courtesy of Raro Video. Raro has been doing some great work bringing Italian obscurities over to U.S. home video on DVD and Blu-ray recently, and while their AV work occasionally leaves some room for improvement, I'm happy to see some of these films just on DVD and Blu-ray. You know, a few months ago they brought out Hallucination Strip. They're bringing out Umberto Lenzi's Gang War in Milan this month, and in the past they brought out Fernando de Leo's crime films. This film, however, is a really it kind of crosses the line between exploitation and art. I'm not going to say it's a masterpiece, but I'm going to say it's kind of in that same zone as Pasolini's Salo in some of its sensibilities. Blue Movie is basically about a young woman who, as the film begins, is getting raped. So right there, you know what you're getting into. She escapes and finds herself in the arms of a photographer who you think is rescuing her. They end up at the photographer's studio where most of the film takes place. The film has a very minimalist style. While in the photographer's apartment, they end up performing various sex acts, scatological and whatnot. The film is also interspliced with various Mondo footage, real war atrocities and things like that. I felt, Cavalloni was trying to strive for something deeper than a typical exploitation film, and I felt the film was extremely interesting. The DVD itself, and obviously I got a copy of the DVD off the Blu-ray, so I can't really speak, looked pretty decent, very natural looking, although I did notice some areas where it looks like there's been some digital touching up here and there. But overall, looked very nice. There was some healthy grain and nice detail. Overall, if you are a fan of Italian sleaze, this is a film to pick up. Really disturbing. Jim Wynorski's The Lost Empire. I'm a huge fan of Jim Wynorski. Honestly, Deathstalker 2 is probably somewhere in my top 25 favorite films of all time, if not in my top 10. If there is a man who knows how to make a quality B movie, it is Jim Wynorski. This is his debut feature film, and it kind of reminds me of how when you're a kid and you're a filmmaker, you seemingly just want to emulate the films you like. You know, your heroes. You want to make the next Star Wars. You want to make the next James Bond film. While Jim Wynorski wanted to make Enter the Dragon, he wanted to make a James Bond film, and he wanted to make it with 3 female leads. And that is what he did here. This is not a film to be taken seriously. It's a film just to have fun with. And The Lost Empire is a ton of fun. Now, the DVD comes out through MVD and Polyscope Media. Unfortunately, it does not look good. It's heavily compressed, a lot of black crush going on. I'm happy it's out there. I'm really happy most films get out on DVD and Blu-ray these days. But I feel like this film deserved a little bit better treatment. I do know that Scorpion Releasing has a good number of Jim Wynorski's films, and I certainly hope that some of his later output gets released more nicely mastered on the Blu-ray format. By the way, Scorpion, if you are watching, Hard to Die, Blu-ray, please. Alright, now, on our first episode, we reviewed 3 70s Godzilla films that came out on Blu-ray via Section 23. Now, we have 8 Godzilla films that came out via Sony in their Toho Godzilla collection. These films are from the 90s Heisei era, am I saying that right? And the Millennium era. They have almost every film from that era minus 3. And the collections include Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, and Godzilla vs. Mothra: The Battle for Earth, Godzilla vs. Destoroyah, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, Godzilla vs. Tokyo S.O.S, and Godzilla Final Wars. I'm not going to really go over the synopsis for all these films. The quality ranges from very good to decent, but overall, I think what you're looking for at this point is, are they an upgrade from my DVDs? Well, yes and no. The quality on the Blu-rays vary depending on the film and the source, and it looks like many of the Godzilla Blu-rays that have been released, from the Media Blasters, Destroy All Monsters, and Megalon Blu-rays to the Section 23 Blu-rays, they're just working with what Toho gives them, with no additional tampering. So, a film like Godzilla vs. Destoroyah I think looks really good. And surprisingly, a more recent film like Godzilla Final Wars doesn't look that great. Very soft at times. I think that these came from masters that were about 10 years old. I don't think they're upscales of SD masters. They're definitely high definition, but they're really soft in places, depending on the film. You know, they're overly grainy, sometimes a little bit noisy. I do think they're an upgrade. They sound great. They look great at times when they're on. Other times, not so much. But they're a great addition to anyone's Godzilla collection that's looking to upgrade, because I highly doubt they're going to be seen in a better format anytime soon. Also, the extras are primarily trailers. I think there's a behind-the-scenes featurette on Tokyo S.O.S. Last up, 3 films from Twilight time. We're going to start with Thunderbirds Are Go, Thunderbirds 6. Jerry Anderson pretty much made his career around making TV shows and movies with marionettes. The Thunderbirds double feature here was based off of his TV series Thunderbirds, which ran for 32 episodes in the UK, 64 episodes in the US, depending on where you lived, because those 32 episodes were an hour long and cut down to half-an-hour episodes stateside. The show didn't fare too well and became a cult phenomenon, but before it got canceled, movies were signed for, and so they had to be made. The movies do a really good job of expanding the universe Anderson created in the TV shows, and Twilight time ends up doing a great job bringing these to Blu-ray. They have all the extra features from the DVDs, commentary tracks, making ofs. So if you are a fan of Thunderbirds, this is a substantial upgrade from what was there before. Great colors, nice grain, fine detail. Check this out. Rollerball. Probably one of James Caan's most popular roles where he doesn't end up shot into a piece of Swiss cheese. Alright, so Rollerball takes place in a dystopian science fiction future where war has been eliminated, corporations have taken over the earth, and war has been replaced with rollerball, a sport that's sort of like roller derby, sort of with motorcycles and skating and violence. And James Caan, well, he's the best rollerball player in the world. Now, the corporate mindset of this world is that we can't have individuals. Everyone must be a part of the team, and rollerball represents the team. So, because Caan's character has been such a part of this for such a long time and been individually great, he's being encouraged to retire by any means necessary. Whether that be torturing him, torturing his team, changing the rules of the game, Honestly, Rollerball, not one of my favorite 70s science fiction films. I appreciate the political subtext in the film, and it's kind of creepy how a lot of the corporate ness has sort of come to pass. Much in a they live sort of way. The restoration from Twilight time, however, looks spectacular, especially in the moments where rollerball games are going on. And I did pick up on some nice warm tones in exterior scenes, like where James Caan is riding horses, things like that. Finally, we come to the Twilight time Blu-ray of Broadway Danny Rose. I think I can honestly say I don't think I've seen a Woody Allen movie more times than Broadway Danny Rose. And that is not by intention. I think it's like a it comes in a package deal to TV networks along with Hannah and Her Sisters. I mean, if you are flipping channels and you were in the mid-90s and you wanted to see a Woody Allen film, those two were on all the time. It was never Sleeper. It was never everything you wanted to know about sex and were afraid to ask. It was never Bananas, you know. It was never Crimes and Misdemeanors, Annie Hall, none of that. It was either Hannah and Her Sisters or Broadway Danny Rose. Not to say it's a bad film. Allen kind of plays a less sarcastic character than usual, more downbeat. I mean, you know, Allen usually plays a bit of a downbeat character, but this one seems to be more beaten. He plays an agent of like Z-list actors and performers, you know, and the film shows him trying to get one of these performers, a 50s one-hit wonder, who's about to get his biggest break in years, to his latest performance, and the mishaps that happen along the way. The film is told in flashback by a bunch of comedians who have fond memories of Danny Rose and his particular style as an agent. The Blu-ray appears to potentially come from an older master courtesy of MGM. Nonetheless, it looks really nice. It had excellent contrast, nice fine detail. It definitely comes recommended for fans of the film. And that's all we have this week.